Welcome, everyone. Today we are kicking off an exploration into something that I think pushes back against almost everything we're taught about being a capable adult.
It really does. We're looking at Lesson 324. I merely follow, for I would not lead.
And that title alone is a challenge, isn't it?
It's a huge one. We live in a world that basically screams at us from birth that maturity, that success means being in control. It means you're the captain of your ship, the master of your fate.
You're supposed to have a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan.
Exactly. And this lesson comes along and suggests, no, actually, true wisdom, true leadership is found in letting go of the controls and trusting a guidance that's already there. It's about following, not self-directing.
It's such a radical idea. I think to really get our heads around this, we should start by just reading the lesson itself. It's short, but every word counts.
I agree. Let's lay the foundation. Lesson 324. I merely follow, for I would not lead.
Father, you are the one who gave the plan for my salvation to me. You've set the way I am to go, the role to take, and every step in my appointed path.
I cannot lose the way. I can but choose to wander off a while and then return. Your loving voice will always call me back and guide my feet aright.
My brothers all can follow in the way I lead them. Yet I merely follow in the way to you as you direct me and would have me go.
So let us follow one who knows the way. We need not tarry, and we cannot stray except an instant from his loving hand. We walk together, for we follow him.
And it is he who makes the ending sure and guarantees a safe returning home.
That last line guarantees a safe returning home. That's where all the comfort lies. But getting there means wrestling with this first part about not leading.
Right, so let's deconstruct that. Let's talk about the ego's plan, this idea of self-leadership that we're all so attached to.
The cultural programming for this is just immense. It's not subtle.
Not at all. It starts in childhood. We're graded on self-sufficiency. We're told, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. No one's going to hand this to you.
And by the time you're an adult, being successful is almost defined by your ability to manage everything. Your career, your finances, your emotions, your health. You're the CEO of You, Inc.
And a whole industry has sprung up to support that idea. Think about the sheer volume of self-help books, productivity apps, life-hacking blogs.
All of it. Time blocking, getting things done, even some forms of therapy, they all operate on this one core assumption. You are the manager, and your life success or failure rests entirely on how well you manage it.
I think for a lot of people listening, people who are driven and responsible, the idea of not leading feels irresponsible. It sounds like being passive or lazy.
It sounds reckless, like you're just letting your life happen to you. And that's the ego's biggest fear. That's the exact point this lesson is trying to get us to look at.
So what does the Course say is really going on underneath all this frantic self-management?
The Course suggests that this constant effort, this obsession with controlling every detail, is really just a way to reinforce one single core belief.
The belief that we're separate?
The belief that we're separate. Every time I say, I have to handle this, I need to figure this out, I must control this outcome, I'm hammering home the idea that I am alone.
That there's no help available. That I am this isolated unit responsible for my own survival in a, frankly, dangerous world.
Precisely. To insist on leading is to actively deny the existence of a plan that, as the lesson says, has already been given. It's a practical, moment-to-moment demonstration of the belief that you're cut off from God, from help from each other.
Let's get into the mechanics of that. What does it actually feel like inside your head when you're in that self-leadership mode?
It feels like a constant low-grade hum of urgency. Your mind is never at rest. It's always in the strategy room, gaming out scenarios.
It's that what-if machine.
The what-if machine running 24/7. And the fuel for that machine is fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of loss. So you're not just dealing with what's happening now, you're trying to solve 5 problems that haven't even happened yet.
I think everyone recognizes that feeling. It's that internal pressure that if you let your guard down, if you stop planning for just 1 second, everything will fall apart.
Right. If I don't send this email right now, the deal will collapse. If I don't plan the perfect response to their question, I'll look like a fool.
You said the ego is a strategy engine. and that requires a closed system. What do you mean by that?
I mean that when you're operating from fear, you can't be open. You've already decided what the one acceptable outcome is, the one that keeps you safe.
So your mind is closed to any other possibility.
Completely closed. You're not open to guidance. You're not open to creative solutions. You're not even open to reality. You're just trying to force everything and everyone to fit into the little box you've built.
And what happens when reality doesn't cooperate? Because it rarely does.
That's when the panic sets in, the frustration, the anger. You double down, you try to manage harder. Instead of accepting what is and responding to it peacefully, you're spending all this energy trying to bend the world to your will. And that constant friction is the source of so much of our stress.
To make this a bit more grounded, let's use an analogy. I think the classic Bridezilla is a perfect, if extreme, example of this hyper self-management in action.
Oh, it's a fantastic example. We all have a picture in our minds of what that means. It's someone who has seized total control of an event.
It's not just their own choices. They're trying to lead everyone else's experience too. Micromanaging the caterers, the guests' behavior, the emotional tone of the entire day.
And we should be clear, this isn't a gendered thing. The Bridezilla mindset can apply to a CEO launching a product, a parent planning a family vacation, anyone in a high-stakes situation who believes perfection is the only path to safety.
Exactly. We're talking about the internal state, not the specific event. And on the surface, the stress seems to be about the flowers or the seating chart. But what's the real fear underneath all that?
It is pure terror of being exposed as unworthy. The deep-seated belief that if one single thing goes wrong, if control is lost for a second, it will prove the horrible thing they secretly believe about themselves. That they're not good enough, not lovable, not competent.
So the wedding or the product launch stops being a celebration and becomes this high wire act.
It becomes a proving ground. If I can execute this perfectly, then I am worthy, then I am safe. They're trying to find their salvation in a perfectly arranged centerpiece, which is an impossible task. You can't find inner peace in external things.
And this connects directly to what the chorus calls conflicting wishes, doesn't it? The stress comes from trying to hold two opposite desires at the same time.
Absolutely. Talk us through some of those conflicts.
Well, the Bridezilla wants to feel loved and connected to her friends and family. That's a genuine wish. But she also wants to control their every reaction and behavior to ensure her vision is met. That's a fear-based wish.
And the wish for control always wins.
It always wins, and it cancels out the wish for connection. You can't control people and connect with them at the same time. Or think about work. You want the peace of a job well done, but you also demand constant external praise to validate your effort. The need for validation sabotages the potential for peace.
It's wanting joy, but demanding a kind of rigid perfectionism that makes joy impossible. The whole experience becomes a form of self-torture. The stress and anxiety are so intense that the original purpose of the event is completely lost.
This is the inevitable dead end of self-leadership.
It is. And this is exactly where the lesson's promise of guidance becomes so important. But we have to be really clear about what that guidance is for.
Right. It's so tempting to think that asking for guidance means asking for the external situation to be fixed. Please, go guide, make the traffic clear up so I'm not late.
Or make my difficult relative behave at the party. We think we're asking for help managing the dream, but the source, the voice for God, it doesn't care about the seating chart.
It doesn't care about the quarterly earnings report.
Not at all. The guidance is aimed at only one thing: healing the internal conflict in your mind.
So the Holy Spirit's job isn't to make the flowers show up on time. It's to help you find peace, whether or not the flowers show up.
Exactly. It's to offer you the realization that your worth, your safety, your joy, they are completely independent of external outcomes. Peace is a choice you can make right now, in the middle of the chaos, not something you achieve after the chaos is perfectly managed. That is the entire shift.
So let's get practical. How do we know when we've slipped back into that ego-driven, self-leading mode? What are the signals?
The signal is always some form of fear. Anytime you feel conflict, stress, anxiety, worry, anger, that is a big flashing neon sign from your mind that says, I've taken the wheel again and I'm trying to do this all by myself.
And this isn't just a mental or emotional signal, is it? The body gets involved.
The Course talks about this. The body reflects the mind's choice. So when the mind chooses fear and separation, the body often responds.
That sudden headache when a project gets complicated.
The knot in your stomach before a difficult conversation, that tightness in your chest when you feel criticized, these aren't just random physical events. They are direct physical feedback. They're your body's way of saying you are choosing to believe you are alone and in danger.
So when you feel that knot in your stomach, instead of just reaching for an antacid, the practice is to pause and recognize, I'm trying to lead here. I'm trying to carry this all myself.
Exactly. It becomes a cue to remember, a trigger to shift from self-direction back to a willingness to follow.
Okay, so let's contrast that. What does it actually feel like to follow? To accept guidance instead of generating it?
There's a profound sense of relief because you've put down the impossible burden of managing the entire universe. You're no longer responsible for the outcome.
And when you're not trying to force a specific outcome, your mind gets quieter.
So much quieter. All of that frantic ego chatter, the judging, the planning, the worrying, it subsides. And in that quiet, you can actually think clearly. You can hear the gentle, sane guidance that was there all along.
You move from being reactive to being responsive.
That's a perfect way to put it. You're not acting out of fear of what might happen. You're acting from a place of quiet certainty about what is most helpful right here, right now.
I think of someone like Mr. Rogers as a great example of this. He had this incredible controlled calmness, but he wasn't a controlling person.
What a wonderful example. He was famous for taking these long pauses in interviews before he'd answer a question.
Which is terrifying for most people on television.
Yeah.
The pressure is to be quick, to be witty, to fill the silence.
And that pressure is pure ego. It's the fear of being judged as slow or unprepared. But Rogers was completely comfortable in the silence. He was taking the time to listen, to connect with a thoughtful, genuine response, rather than just spitting out a pre-planned soundbite.
And that made him seem incredibly safe, incredibly trustworthy. His calm was clearly coming from an internal source. He wasn't managing our perception of him.
He was just being present. That's the power of following. You stop trying to control how things should be, and you can just be with how things are.
And that has huge implications for our relationships.
Huge. Think back to our bridezilla. Their stress makes them impossible to be around. But when you let go of that need to manage everyone, you suddenly become emotionally available.
You're not seeing people as pieces on your chessboard anymore.
No, you're just seeing people. You can actually connect with them. You can find joy in what happens, even if it wasn't part of your plan. A surprise, an unexpected turn of events isn't a catastrophe. It's just what's happening. Your worth isn't on a line with every single outcome.
You get to drop that tightly managed persona, that mask you thought you needed to wear. You can just show up as yourself.
And this is so crucial. Following guidance doesn't mean you become a passive doormat. It doesn't mean you stop taking action.
That's a common misconception, that you just sit and wait for a booming voice from the clouds.
Right. But it's not about the action itself. It's about the source of the action. Let's say you're facing a crisis at work. The self-leading response is to panic, blame, and rush into a fear-based strategy.
The guided response is to pause, ask for help to see the situation peacefully, and then take the calm, logical steps that arise from that centered place. You still write the email, you still make the phone call, but you're doing it from peace, not from panic.
The purpose shifts from ego protection to genuine helpfulness, and that changes everything.
And through all this, we have that incredibly comforting promise from the lesson. I can but choose to wander off a while and then return.
This is the safety net. This is the grace of the whole system. The guide, the Holy Spirit, fully expects you to wander off. It knows you're going to get scared and grab the wheel again.
It's not a failure. It's not a sin.
It's just part of the process while we're here. And the wandering only lasts an instant. It doesn't change the destination. The voice is always calling you back. And the path is always there the moment you choose to step back onto it. There's no punishment, no I told you so. Just a gentle welcome home.
Okay, now we need to tackle the most, I think, mind-bending part of this lesson, this line. My brothers all can follow in the way I lead them, yet I merely follow.
It sounds like a complete paradox. If I'm following, how can I possibly be leading?
And in a world where we see ourselves as separate people, how does my private internal choice to follow guidance have any effect on you?
The only way to make sense of it is to zoom out to the core metaphysics of the Course, which is the idea of the one mind.
The idea that on a deeper level, we're not actually separate. We're all part of one unified consciousness.
Exactly. So in that framework, a choice made by one part of the mind affects the whole mind. When I choose to follow the Holy Spirit instead of my own fearful ego, I'm choosing truth over illusion.
And that choice isn't just for me.
It's not just for you. Your choice strengthens the presence of truth within the entire shared mind. It's like turning up the volume on the signal of the Holy Spirit, which makes it a little bit easier for everyone else to hear it too.
So I lead, not by standing out front and telling people what to do.
No, you lead by making a quiet, internal correction. You lead by demonstrating at the level of mind that there's another way besides fear. Your choice to follow opens a pathway that others can then see and choose for themselves.
It redefines leadership completely. True leadership isn't about managing effects in the world. It's about choosing a different cause in the mind.
That is the most powerful form of leadership there is. You're helping to heal the one and only problem, the belief in separation at its source.
And when you place all our frantic planning and worrying, inside the context that this is all a dream,
the absurdity of it becomes so clear. We are investing all of this emotional energy, all this effort into perfecting a story that isn't even real.
But while we believe it's real, this lesson gives us the escape hatch. It tells us we don't have to figure out how to navigate the dream on our own. There's a guide who knows the way out.
And our only job is to take his hand and follow. Our only real function is to stop getting in our own way with our self-directed plans.
It really requires a kind of humility, doesn't it? To admit, I don't know the way.
It does, but it's not a humiliating humility. It's an intelligent one. It's recognizing where true strength lies. It's not in our little separate minds. It's in the source we're all connected to.
So the daily practice is really just that constant check-in. In this moment, am I strategizing out of fear, or am I open and following in peace?
That's it, moment by moment, and knowing that every time you notice you've wandered, the way back is right there, waiting for you.
Let's try to synthesize this then. When you boil it all down, the work isn't about managing your life more successfully.
No, it's not about becoming a better dreamer. It's about learning how to wake up. And the way to wake up is to stop listening to the voice of the dream, the ego, and start listening to the voice that is calling you home.
Which brings us back to that final, incredible promise. It is he who makes the ending sure and guarantees a safe returning home. The outcome is not in doubt.
Not at all. The return journey is simply the process of remembering that we never actually left. The separation was just a mistaken idea we took seriously for a little while.
So our only job is to stop interfering, to stop trying to lead when a perfect plan and a perfect guide have already been provided.
Exactly. The journey is guided, the ending is sure. All we have to do is follow.
It's a fundamental shift from responsibility for outcome to responsibility for choice. My only responsibility is to choose my inner guide.
And that choice is the only one that truly matters. So we'll leave you with this to think about. What would just one day of your life look like if you truly operated from the belief that you don't have to be in charge of everything, that you were never meant to carry it all alone?
We really encourage you to try it and see what happens.
And let us know. You can send us an email about your experience. The address is acim@theworldharmonyproject.org.
Or find us on social media. We're the World Harmony Project pretty much everywhere, especially visible on TikTok.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear how choosing to follow instead of lead changes things for you.